we're back from the reception. Thank you. Next is presentations, 16.1 Google Career Certificate Program and
Reports? Are we doing reports? 15?
Reports.
thank you, boy.
Student representative,
Yeah, 15.1.
15-1.
Boy, okay, you're absolutely right. Thank you. I told you it was going to take a couple people to help out. So 15.1 Student Representatives Report.
Amkar, it's your
There you go, Amkar.
Hello, everyone.
Beautiful.
So I hope you all got the packet. So I wanted to wish the board and the AUHSD happy holidays. I'm really grateful to be here with such amazing role models. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share something before I begin the report. Recently, I went to the CSBA conference, and I heard quite some unique perspectives. And I know many trustees asserted their new student representatives' rights to a preferred vote, where they shared how they would vote before any action provided some insight. So I'm hoping something like that could come to the AUHSD in the future. But even if it doesn't, I must say that I'm very grateful for this opportunity to be with all of you, because while I was there, I heard some really scary horror stories about some other boards as well, where some board members during meetings even said, we don't really care about student voice. But that's the very opposite of the AUHSD. And so I'm so grateful to be here, because you guys have always propelled student voice, always kept a platform for students. So I'm forever grateful. And so thank you all so much. And to the student report now. So at Anaheim, Anaheim recently held a market day to empower the strengths of their students through entrepreneurship and selling items like keychains or stuffed animals. CVA's ASB sent out CVA compliments, where students got to share with their peers what they admired about each other. At Cypress held their Thankful Spirit Week right before Thanksgiving break, where students had fun little theme days like Twin Day on Tuesday and Appreciation Day on Friday. Gilbert held their Great American Smokeout Food Contest, where students faced off against staff to see who can eat the most amount of food. I don't know who the winner is, but I bet it was fun. At Catella held their Winter Assembly, which was their last assembly for 2022, where students and organizations like Cheer and JROTC performed for everyone. Kennedy's mock trial earned their first win of the season. Many of the team earned awards from MVP to Outstanding Job awards. Loera had a totally radical Christmas carol show, where students dedicated so much time, even their weekends, to make props to make it a giant success. Magnolia recently had PBS come and record a segment at their MAC to highlight their ROP pathways and the numerous student engagement activities they have there. Oxford recently invited students from the #1 international school in Japan to visit and walk in a day of the Patriot School Day. At the end, they participated in a cultural presentation, including dances and a karate demonstration. Savannah recently hosted an international night market to celebrate cultural diversity in collaboration with Magnolia High School. They had over 10 cultural performances and about 20 fundraising events simultaneously for cultural clubs. And finally, at Western, the biology students, AP and others, visited Cal State Fullerton to give female students the opportunity to explore STEM careers and heard from actual members of the career community. So that's for the AUHSD schools.
I have a question. Who puts together all this?
Oh, this is so each report is from each student ambassador or school ambassador. So I asked them all to put it in a Google form, and then I make that title page, and then just double check all their forms, and then I compile it together.
So basically, each ambassador is doing a page and sending it to you.
Right. So it's because
very
of
nice.
that report's here.
Super. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Are there any student speakers in the audience that wish to speak?
I think there's one green card.
Do we have?
It's the green.
I haven't really. I'm not used to the colors. Okay. Student requests to speak. Trom Do. Right. Yeah.
So, good evening, school board trustee and everyone in attendance. We are a student from Magnolia High School representing the Vietnamese Dual Language Immersion Academy, also known as VDLA. We would like to take this opportunity to thank the AUHSD School Board, Superintendent Masuda, and the AUHSD Executive Cabinet for supporting our program. We will also like to thank Trustee Aljaba for her service to the community as a board member and board president in supporting plurilingualism and minimizing generational language loss. Thank you for your support of VDLA, the first and currently only Vietnamese dual language program for secondary school in the United States. VDLA is very special to us because of the unique learning experience we are able to have, as there is no other program like it. We are learning Vietnamese along with computer science. Though our program is open to students with all backgrounds, for students that are Vietnamese descent, we are empowered in our language, our community, and our heritage. We take pride of being a part of the VDLA programs and hope to receive your continued support of VDLA in our future endeavors. And now we would like to present the AUHSD School Board letters of thanks from ourselves, our classmates in the Vietnamese Dual Language Immersion Academy program. Thank you once again.
What school is she from?
Magnolia.
Magnolia.
Anybody have any comments?
That's great.
We always appreciate students coming up and speaking their minds and telling us how they feel about what they're doing and learning. So we really appreciate you guys all taking the time. We know that you're busy and we know that you have homework. You sat through a long first part of our meeting, and we really appreciate you coming up and telling us how you feel. And thank you for the letters. I'm looking forward to reading them. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tram, are everybody that was here this evening, are you all in the same grade, all 11th grade, or various grade levels? Okay, all right, thank you. So very grade levels. Thank you so much you did a nice job speaking to us. We always enjoy having students come and express their views. You did a great job. Thank you so much.
I have a question also. Now, there were a large number of you that came tonight. Is your class a big class, or do you have any idea of the total number in it?
We have like different periods, so it depends on each class.
Okay, so it's more than one class, then it's a total number of 5 classes then, a day. All right, that's great. Well, that means it's a fairly large program then.
Right,
Very
yeah.
good. Thank you.
Thank you. Sure. Any other students in the audience that wish to speak? Okay, seeing none, we go to our reports of associations. Are any association representatives back in the audience that wish to speak? I see a hand up in the back. Oh, it must be, yes, come forward.
Hey.
Ms. Vasquez.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you, President O'Neill, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Matsuda, Executive Cabinet, and welcome to our community here and online. I want to kind of highlight some of the work that we're doing outside of our district. As it was mentioned earlier by Dr. Billings, we are genuinely the best district. And one of the things that I think the reason why we're so good is that not only are we doing excellent work, but we're willing to share that with others. So I wanted to highlight that this past month, there was a session on democracy, and our superintendent was part of that panel sponsored by the California Chief Justice, talking about the power of democracy and civic learning. And we got to share the vision in our district about civic engagement, youth agency, democracy schools, civic learning, our Catella talks, and the over 2,000 students that received the seal of civic engagement. Not only that, but also we were recognized as I think Mr. Al-Jabbar was able to attend. We got, oh, and Mr. O'Neill as well. The California Board Association awarded us with the Golden Bell for our Saturday Language Academy, which is, again, a collaborative work with some of our Anaheim collaborative partners in Cal State Fullerton, the work of Dr. Farhan Valls and Dr. Allison Dover, really doing a lot of language and exploring that work, and also incredible teachers that we have dedicating themselves to support our newcomer students with language acquisition on Saturdays. And obviously, a shout out to Dr. Bryan, too, for establishing the program, her leadership, and for her support in the pro-lingual department. I know she's here with the Vietnamese dual language. Also, tonight was the first night, also an informational night at South Junior High, because we are also expanding our Spanish dual immersion program, and so that is also happening for the upcoming school year. So a lot of things happening in terms of continuing to raise equity and promoting the programs for all students. Also talking about student agency and voice, OMCAR, and also some alumni ambassadors like Elizabeth Oche and Alvaro. Who else did we have? Eunice Kim, and we had a couple of current ambassadors. We presented at the Quantum 10 International Virtual Conference, and we had a student panel that was moderated by OMCAR, and we talked about what do students see as valuable and important in their education to pursue their passion and their career, and also to be successful once they are done with school. And we asked them, if you can redesign education, what would that look like? And it was incredible to hear. Once we get the recording, I'm going to share it with you. It was incredible to hear how articulate our students were. I think every comment in the chat was, wow, oh my goodness, like incredible what they were saying. But they have really internalized what it is to have agency and to serve. And so many of them were talking about what they're doing in college to serve their community and also their peers. And so wanted to kind of share that because we don't necessarily hear what they're doing after they leave us. And lastly, I want to welcome Ms. Guerrero to the board. We look forward to working with you and together supporting our students in our community. And also big thank you to Mr. Al-Jabbar for your leadership and courage, for doing what is best for students and for their success in achieving their dreams. And we want to wish everybody a happy and wonderful winter break, and hope that you are safe and are enjoying some time with family and friends. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other association leaders? Seeing none? We'll go on to Parent Teacher Student Association. Jesse had to leave? Okay, all right. We'll go on to 16 presentations. We have 16.1 Google Career Certificate Program, Dr. Freed.
Yeah, so it gives me great pleasure to bring up our Director of Career Preparedness Systems Frameworks Implementation, also known as CPSF, Ms. Amanda Bean, and she's going to introduce our two outstanding teachers and our wonderful student who's going to also talk about their experience with our Google Certificate Program and our, basically, the Grow with Google program. Ms. Bean.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Executive Cabinet, and our community members here in person and watching online. As Dr. Freed said, I'm Amanda Bean, and I'm our Director of our CPSF implementation. And tonight I'm really proud to share with you our Google Career Certificate Program, our implementation and our next steps. So just touching on our core values here in AUHSD, by offering the Google Career Certificates, we're really demonstrating that both Anaheim Union and Google believe that every student should have the opportunity to learn the skills needed for the most in-demand jobs. And so we are really focusing on core value number 2, that education must work for students and not the other way around, and that idea that it's delivered primarily through instruction. So when we think about the way we're offering Google certificates, which I'll share with you throughout the presentation, we're doing it as part of classroom instruction. And so it's not something that students get to just do after school, or some kids have access to it, but we're really creating in a system where that it's a class that students can take that's paired with maybe their English class or paired with their math class. So we're really ensuring that students have access through their course selection. It can be part of their 6-year plan, and it's really beneficial for students who want to gain skills for their resume, whether they're college-bound or entering the workforce. The Google certificates are offered. Sorry, I'm having trouble with the thing over here. Our partnership is the first in the nation, the first public school district to partner with Grow with Google to offer career certificates, something we're very proud of, knowing that Google came to us because they saw the work that we were doing here in Anaheim Union, and they sought us out to partner with us. And so as we continue the partnership, they're continually impressed with the way we're choosing to roll it out, making it part of our classrooms, bringing teachers on board in the instructional design, and so that's something they're very curious about moving forward. The certificates are designed and taught by Google employees through the platform Coursera, and what we're doing is that we're having teachers then write courses that incorporate the coursework along with their content area. The certificates, in some cases, can be credited towards a 4-year degree at select colleges and universities, and are available at over 100 community colleges in the United States. And we're currently working with our higher ed partners to increase the college credit that our students might earn for these certificates as well. Upon completion of a certificate, students can submit their resume to an employer consortium of over 130 companies that work with Google, including Google themselves. And so this is the goal, to create a talent pipeline of skilled employees, skilled talent, that the companies feel confident that the skills that they have learned through the rigorous coursework. So I just want to give you a little bit of the participation from the previous year and where we're at this year, and then I'm going to invite our teachers and students to share their experience. So last year when we launched, we just invited teachers who we thought might be able to pilot and pair a certificate with a class, and we were really looking for what worked, just best practices that we could look to scale and replicate. So last year, we had 159 students complete certificates in 8 of our schools. And you can see the breakdown on the chart. So we had 8 schools, 159 students. Through that, we found a lot of best practices that we have continued to expand this year. The remaining slides show a little bit about the demographic breakdowns of the completers. And so here's a breakdown of students that completed by gender and by grade level. One thing that we did learn in our pilot, that these certificates are most appropriate for juniors and seniors, as they are closest to entering the workforce and can really utilize the skills fully as they're learning. In our pilot, we learned that the project management certificate was really well paired with English 4, and the data analytics would really pair well with our statistics and probability class. And so what we did this year is we put out a recruitment for English 4 teachers that would be willing to pilot data project management in their English 4 class, and we created a separate course code. We distinguish it on the student transcript, and all of those students are working through the certificate as part of their English class. Because of that growth, this year we have 821 students currently in a course working towards a certificate, with the most being project management. That's 553 students. We do have 23 total teachers participating across 11 sites and programs, including our ILCs and Gilbert. Yes, Mr.
Amanda,
Matsuda.
could you give maybe a couple of examples of an integrated English floor class with project management? I assume there's a lot of project-based learning going on.
Sure, and if you're okay, Mr. Matsuda, that's maybe what our teachers can share with us.
Yeah.
They can explain it much better than I can. We have a phenomenal group of English teachers, 11 English teachers across 4 high schools that are working through and helping to write a course that we will scale next year to more schools. I'm really proud to say that we also, two sets of the teachers are inclusion teachers, including including our pair presenting tonight, and so we have our students in special education also accessing the certificates and doing a phenomenal job. We also have project management paired with 3 yearbook classes across the district, and so they're working through the certificate and using the skills to produce the yearbook. And then we do also have it as a standalone elective at CVA and at Gilbert, so students are taking it for elective credit. For statistics and probability, we have 3 teachers in schools pairing data analytics with statistics. Our next step with that is to invite 2 of the teachers that are doing a really phenomenal job to help us write a course, and then invite more teachers next year to teach that course to our seniors. And then I do have that being offered as a standalone at Anaheim ILC. What I'm really most proud of is that we have this across all of our programs, and we're being able to serve many student groups in our pilot, and that's one thing too that Google is particularly attracted to. Our last set of participation is we do have a teacher at Cypress doing automation with Python with their computer science class. We have IT support paired with cybersecurity, and we have 1 teacher piloting a UX design, which is like a user interface with graphics at Cypress High School. In these 3 areas, those are areas that we're looking to expand in those pathways across our district moving forward. So that's just to give you a little bit of a picture of where we're at, what we're offering. Next, I would really love to have our 2 teachers, Michelle Gonzalez and Cheryl Campos from Catella High School, to share with us what that looks like in their classroom, implementing project management with their English 4 class.
Hello, everybody. I'm Michelle Gonzalez.
I'm Cheryl Campos.
And we're co-teachers at Catella High School. Basically, our class is in progress, but one of the things that we realized is that project management has 3 components, and also bringing in the English 4 component. So number 1, we need content, number 2, we need Coursera, and number 3, we need projects. So what we did is we've designed our class where days of the week go with certain components. So Monday through Wednesday, we're content-based. We're looking at our novels, our plays, our articles, our poetry. But those types of items are setting us up for the project component. On Tuesday, that's our Coursera day. That's the online that we do with Google, where the kids will log in and they have weekly assignments where they watch videos, read articles, and then they have to take a quiz or complete a component, an activity of sort. And then on Friday is our project day. That's when the students are together in groups of 4, and they're completing some sort of project that's going along with our content. So one of the things that we've realized is that our students are really learning how to manage tasks, which they don't necessarily have in structuring themselves. They have multiple components going on in our rooms, and being able to figure out how to complete each task on time. This semester, we will, by the end of next week, we'll have completed 3 sections. So our first section was a college and career unit. So we were looking at different components of the college and career. They created a portfolio, and they completed the Coursera Foundations section. Then our second group, our second unit was rhetoric. And so we looked at the project initiation, which is course 2 on Coursera, and we also did research and looking at our voice and how can we persuade others to, and looking at our audience. And so what we did was we looked at water issues in California, and our students created their own children's books. And so they had to work together. Who's your illustrator? Who's your, where are you putting in the different components? And they had to map out how long it would take, what program that they were going to be using to publish it and stuff like that. And then our final unit that we've been working on is Into the Wild by John Krakauer. So they do get the literary component. While we're doing that, they're completing number 3 on Coursera, which is project planning. So they're looking at how the main person in the book, Chris McCandless, how did he manage his journey? And in addition to that, they are creating video blogs, travel vlogs. And so for a specific group, Nate and Kara, that are bloggers, and so they're going to be pitching an element of of the next vlog for them. And so they've had to look at different locations that McCandless went to. They've had to research different locations, what would be the best place to stay, what's the restaurant, all sorts of different things. And they had to give each person different tasks, and they're looking at how those tasks all come together. They're learning how to incorporate things like RACI charts, Gantt charts, all these different things that they're not used to in an English classroom, but making them realize that by mapping out their tasks, scheduling things, that they come to their product quicker. Second semester, we're looking at finishing the final courses on Coursera. They'll construct a project management course video. They're going to do book clubs, and we're actually partnering with Magnolia, so our students will be collaborating with them during those book clubs. They will be doing a case study unit, and then their last component is self-designed, and they have to create their own project and show us how it's done.
Okay. With this class, 25 of our 66 students at Catella are students with disabilities. These are students from the SDC Mild Moderate program and the RSP program. The Coursera program lends itself really beautifully to meeting the needs of diverse learners. Much of the content is presented in multiple ways, both video and written. Students are able to retake tests as needed. Coursera will link your missed answer with where you can find it in the course, which has helped students greatly. Additional supports that we have offered to all students, not just our students with disabilities. We have done one-to-one or small group instruction or intervention for students who are missing major components or specific quizzes. We have done additional vocabulary practice, and then when we have these bigger concepts and these projects that we have to learn, like the Gantt chart and the RACI charts, we do whole group instruction.
And then they apply it. They have to then create the charts for their projects.
You know, yeah, Michelle and Cheryl, amazing to hear how much progress you've made. So the question is, how much do you feel that this opportunity changes English 4, right? Is this, how would you assess the Google integration?
To be honest, it's made us more aware of project components, because the items that we're doing, like Into the Wild, and we've done the college unit before, we've done rhetoric before, but bringing in that project component and allowing those students to have their voice be heard. Usually it's like we dictate, this is what you need to do, but now it's they get to choose and figure out how to do it. So it's working well.
How engaging is the Google certificate with the kids?
The coursework on Coursera
Yeah.
is not engaging.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I mean,
And the videos are engaging.
yes, the quizzes are challenging. It's very, the quizzes are challenging, which was really interesting, because yesterday for our advisement at school, it was all about grit. And so I brought it to the class again, and I'm like, you guys need to be able to work through it. In any business, you need to work through it. You have to dig deep. And so they are challenged, for sure.
While the content is hard, it is accessible. I think that's important. So the way that Coursera is set up and the way that they have created how you complete tasks is manageable for all learners within our classroom.
Awesome. Amanda, you talk to Google fairly often. Are they aware of this English 4 integration?
Yes, and again, while we were the first school district to partner with Google, many districts have signed on since, but nobody is doing it the way we're doing it, and so they are always intrigued about how we're getting teachers to do it, how we're writing courses around it, and really are wanting to work with us in the future to write, help them curriculum map and how to do this in public schools more to scale like how we're doing it. Yeah, they're very intrigued by us.
That's amazing, you
Yeah.
guys. Thank you for the
We still have a student who's.
Yeah, we're
Oh, you're not done yet.
we're not done. Sorry. Wait, Mr. Matsuda, you're cutting into my 15 minutes, so I hope I get an extension. I'm just joking with you. One of the things that is really exciting is that the teachers that are doing the Google certificate for English 4, project management is across all industry sectors, and so we're really teaching skills that students can take to any career industry and utilize, and really teaching them how to apply it to their everyday life. And so that's one of the really nice things about this particular certificate and its accessibility to students. And while Coursera is very dry, we know that, the way we're teaching it and pairing it with the content is making it more doable and accessible for students, which was where the power in it lies. Next, I'd like to invite Sahaj from Kennedy High School. She completed the data analytics certificate last year in her IB biology class, and she's going to tell you about how that led her into her AIM internship and how she used her skills.
Good evening, my name is Sahaj, and I'll basically be running through things I learned from the course and how I directly got to apply it to the internship.
Can you move the mic to your, closer to your mouth?
Thank you.
Okay, so I think the first thing that we established as a classroom, because we started the course in more of a classroom dynamic, we first identified patterns and trends, and in Coursera it started off with really basic shapes and numbers, but throughout the progression of the course it went more into depth with the use of colors and sizes. And this is ArcGIS, which is a mapping software. And although ArcGIS wasn't used in the Coursera, in the Google Data Analytics Coursera, it was, I do believe that my skills really did let me implement the use of colors and sizes to create a visualization and a narrative that I was able to portray through data points. And the second point, point we got to establish through the data analytics course was through spreadsheets, and that typically revolved around data cleaning and data analysis. And originally we did all the zip codes from Orange County, but my group specifically wanted the socioeconomic factors that affected the internet access, which is part of the project that we had. And we had to clean a lot of data, and we filtered out the zip codes through using the codes that were given in the data analytics course. And we basically cleaned it to the way that it was represented in a way that my group had wanted it to be seen. And another thing I learned from the course was how to visually present findings. I think this was one of the most important things, because even if you have so much data and you're able to process it manually, I think it's different when you can process information and tell a story and tell a narrative. And something I learned from the course was the McCandless method, which was the McCandless method basically involves having the information and then creating a clear narrative, what you want to tell. And we wanted to give socioeconomic factors and how they affect the internet access. And our typical things that we had was unemployment and employment, and different variables that can affect internet access within all the zip codes of Orange County. And then we also, through the McCandless method, we also objectified the visual and then applied an effective use of the visual expression. I think in total I think that overall the course really helped me implement my skills and enhance how I'm able to more so narrate findings. And it also opened up a lot of new insights, because I thought that I couldn't really use data analytics in anything besides technology, but through biology I found like a lot of ways that I can implement data analytics, and I also got through further research, which I did a COVID research paper and found a lot of data points and used ArcGIS, which helped me, which was through the data analytics course.
So what was really cool about this opportunity was that we were able, through our AIM program, we were able to partner with CEO Leadership Alliance and create a summer internship specifically for those juniors that completed data analytics at Ernst & Young. So we just hope to do more of that moving forward for our students. Lastly, I just would love to share with you the next steps. And so we're just getting ready to prepare to recruit additional teachers for English 4 project management and the statistics with data analytics. In January, the English teachers will start writing a formal course outline that we can use, and then throughout the spring, our math teachers will write a formal course for the statistics with the data analytics, and then we are adding those courses to the course selection for our students so they can choose or opt in to take those courses next year. Also very pleased to announce and say that we are able to offer parent certifications through our community schools. We recently got the green light on that, so we're working on our plan to promote that and invite parents in to also work on certifications. And we're working on hiring tutors that for current or former students that have taken or are taking the certificate that can support both parent and student programs. And so that's where we are at moving forward, and just looking forward to how we can see this grow, and that we just have this opportunity to offer our students.
Wow.
Yep. Are there any questions?
Is it Sahajpreet? Sahajpreet? How was the internship? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think it was an insightful experience because most of the things I learned through the course I was able to apply and do the findings. And the project was basically we were given like thousands of data points, and we had to filter them out into specific on what our team specifically wanted. And my team decided to focus more on socioeconomic factors and how that affects the prevalence of internet access specifically to schools. And we talked about unemployment and employment rates in different zip codes and how that affected their educational access.
I'd like to read that. Yeah, I think the board would love to read that. Yes, please send that to us.
Okay.
Wow, congratulations to you.
Very
What do you want to
nice.
do? Do you know yet?
I want to do something in like the medical field, but like maybe like biotech or anything like that. I'm not sure though.
All right,
Very
you're
good.
throwing that out
Very
there.
good.
I love that.
Are you a senior?
Yes, I am.
Congratulations.
Amazing. I also need a statistics tutor. I'm looking for one right now. Bravo to you.
Jessica?
Yes, I had a question. It's great to see, thank you to the students and teachers that came to speak about the program. It's great to see the projection of the program since its inception. I was just curious to know how we recruit students into the program to get the certificate.
So far, last year and this year, it was really more based on the teacher and the willingness to pilot. So last year, when we started, it was just to call the teachers and say, hey, we have this opportunity for Google certificates. Here's what they are. Do you think you have a course that might match well? And we just did it. And then this year, knowing that we found success with the English and project management and the statistics with data analytics, then I targeted specific math and English teachers, and they opted in, and we just coded those classes. And so if students really didn't want to do it, we gave them the chance to transfer out to a regular English 4 class. So this year and last year, it was more just if your teacher happened to be doing it. Next year, we are able to add it to the course selection as a specific option because we have enough teachers across the district that are doing it. We have formal courses, formal course numbers now. And so next year will be more student opt-in versus the other way around.
But you know what, Jessica, it's a great question because whenever you transform a district, it has to be teacher-led. Right? The teachers need to be invited, and you could see the teachers here, right, really owning it, owning the change, and then that there's a reason why you have kids take those courses, right? So,
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah,
Now,
you're
there's 5 certificates available. Next year, will there be those 5 in every high school, or we haven't gotten quite that far yet?
So we're not quite that far. So the 2 that are really scalable are the project management and data analytics. And so my goal really is next year to have at least one section of both of those in every high school. So that's my next step, is to start recruiting teachers and ask them to take the certificates so they know what it's about. The other certificates, like automation with Python, IT support, and UX design, are very, very specific and really tie best with certain CTE pathways. And so those won't be as widespread, just based on the nature of which pathways are at each school. But the project management and data analytics are the ones that we're looking to scale across all of our sites.
Okay, and all of these will be in concert with a regular class like in English classes?
Correct.
So it's not a standalone?
Correct. So the only place where we have a standalone is at CVA. We do offer through our e-learning, and as an extra elective, students can take the course, and they're monitored by one of the teachers at CVA. But even then, the students still check in with the teacher regularly, and there's projects associated with the coursework, but it's not quite embedded in the same way as the English 4 or the statistics. It is a little more standalone. But that is how we're able to offer it to students across the district in places where their site doesn't quite have the course yet. We've created that opportunity, so there is still a place for students to go.
Okay, so students can take it online, like through CVA or their individual schools, online. So how many have taken it on their own solo, just like that? Because you're saying it's fairly difficult. So how many have actually opted to try that?
So we started that this year.
Okay.
I'm going to say we probably have about 30 kids total over 3 certificates that are being offered through CVA.
Okay.
Small number. And we started that later in the year, so it wasn't part of what kids could pick in course selection. So next year, as part of our course selection, that has been added to the e-learning course list. And so students will know about it more when they're selecting their courses this spring.
Okay. Can I ask, Michelle, how many are in the class that you are working?
We have 2 sections, so we have 67.
67, okay, so you have 2 full sections?
Yes.
Okay.
And our students are creating videos that will go to promote the course for next year.
Okay, because I was wondering, after she said the kid, when you just told them that we're going to do this, and they had the opportunity to transfer out, I was wondering how many then, kind of, not very many left. Oh, that's good. Oh, good.
Oh, wow.
That's
nice.
very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very
And
nice.
what grade level are they? Are they all seniors?
All
They're all
seniors.
seniors, okay.
And to give you perspective of the 4 schools, so I have Catella, I have the pairing with Cheryl and Michelle. At Anaheim, I have 1 teacher. At Kennedy, I have 1 teacher. And at Magnolia, every single senior English teacher is doing it. So every senior that's in English 4 is doing project management. And that's my other co-teaching pair there as well.
All right, very
Nice.
The
good.
Magnolia team was decided just to jump in together and work on it together.
Great.
Yeah.
I love the idea that you're pairing the students, typical students with the special needs students. So thank you so much for that work. That's in addition to writing the coursework for the typical kids. So I applaud you. And that's another way that our district is unique, I'm sure. So thank you, because you're
Absolutely.
building that mold that's going to produce more and more opportunities for our students. So thank you for that. Bravo to you. Thank you for standing up and raising your hand and writing the curriculum and building the program for us. So thank you.
They're doing a
I'd
great
just
job.
like to comment that I commend you for having and letting the students retake tests. I think that is absolutely brilliant.
That's not us, that's Coursera.
Coursera.
It's wonderful. I just am grateful to hear that. Thank you.
And along those lines, I know it's probably a fast-paced course, but you talked about the books, the children's books that your students wrote. Who's getting to read those? And are you reading them to other elementary students? I'm thinking this is a way we can pair. You're at Catella. There's Gwyn, right around the corner, and Benito Juarez. You know, maybe you can have some students come, or some of the students at least read to because I think we need to learn about conservation any chance that we can. So maybe something along those lines.
Well, thank you so much for your presentation and your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Good
ladies.
presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have have 16.2, our interim budget report. Ms. Need?
Perfect. Well, good evening, Board President O'Neill, members of the board, Superintendent Masuda, cabinet, staff, students, and the community member. Tonight, I'm happy to present the 2022-23 first interim report for our financial that started back on July 1st until October 31st of 2022. Before I get started, I do want to acknowledge my staff. So our Executive Director, Karen Org, is right here, as well as our Controller and our Budget Manager, Brianna Krell. They put a lot of hours in, also weekend hours as well, and nights, I know, very late. They all work really, really hard to get everything done, so thank you so much for getting this done. So I do want to kind of talk about what is happening nationally. So regarding the national economy, inflation continues to be the biggest driver in the budget currently. So currently, right now, there's actually something called the inflation de-escalation, meaning that there is a deflation in the economy right now. This occurs when the price overall is falling in the economy. And so the most prevalent things that you can see is the gas prices, right? So when that falls, that actually helps the inflation numbers come down. We actually peaked in July of 2022 at 9.1%, and October, as of this print, was at 7.7%. And just this morning, the latest number came out for November. It was at 7.1% inflation. So the numbers are going in the right direction. The numbers are coming down. So from 9.1% in July to now 7.1% in November. So that is a good start to begin with. And just last month, the Legislative Analyst Office did a forecast. As we know, there is still the heavily inflation, and so California does face a $25 billion deficit. That's what they are projecting heading into the 23-24 budget. And then with the projected COLA for next year, with the inflation, it is now projected to be at 8.73% for the 23-24 year. And as the information we receive for our current budget for next year is only at 5.38%. So we will be updating these numbers as they come. However, due to the deficit at this point, the LAO's office is recommending the COLA below 8.38%. That's how much the budget can actually afford, but they're actually recommending the COLA to be less than what it will be. And so we'll kind of see what happens when when our governor proposed his budget on or about January 10th of 23. So the other forecast that we always hear about is the UCLA Anderson School of Management forecast. Instead of one this year, they're actually proposing two separate forecasts. So even the top economists in the country have a split. So about 54% is indicating that there will be a recession in the middle of 23. And the other 46% don't believe that there will be one at this point. So the two potential forecasts that UCLA forecasted, the first one is going to be a balanced budget. That's where the Federal Reserve would actually pause on the interest rate after December, right? So then the idea is then this would actually help with the inflation. It was for that. Then in that scenario, then there will not be any recession. However, the other economists within UCLA is forecasting a recession budget, meaning that the Federal Reserve would continue to increase the rate to drive down the inflation. And so at this point, the biggest driver at this point would be the Federal Reserve, whether or not they continue to adjust the rates. And obviously that will affect a lot of different things. For example, when people are buying a home, how much it costs to borrow, right, as well. And so these are the numbers that we are really focusing on right now to see what the releases are for the overall economy. So we're now going to the indicators for our district. So the biggest one here, as we all know, our enrollment. You guys have seen this figure. I always updated this every time we have some new numbers. And so as of October of current year, our CBETS number, that's the data when we collect our data, we were at 27,786 students. That's the preliminary numbers. But if you kind of go back to even back in 2011-12, which was not that long ago, we almost had about 33,000 students. And so looking back at the data from last year to this year, we dropped about 600 students or so. Initially, we were projected to drop more than 700. So this is better news for us, right? We were able to pick up some more kids. But the overall indications, it's that we are continuing to drop. And that's with a lot of different factors. Birth rates going down. Housing is really expensive, especially in Orange County at this point. So the projection is to drop another 750 or so the year after, and then over 1,100 students that third year out. So but I'm going to share with you, obviously, our drop is not as much as compared to other school districts within Orange County. Even comparing to our feeders, our numbers are much, much better. We have, like you've seen, the Google Certificate Program. We have different programs. We have cybersecurity. We have the AI program. We have the biotech at Anaheim High School. We have all these amazing programs our students can come and do. And so our numbers are not as bad. But overall, we are still declining, and that's something we really need to work on. And this chart here will show you the monthly enrollment of where we're at. So we went back about 3 years to see how we're at. So the blue bar at the end, this is the current year. As you will see, just even back in May of 2022, we dropped about 421 students. So as we will see here, we continue to drop. And the thing is, as we all know, our feeders also continue to drop. And so these are the numbers that we actually grab the data. And for example, around this time, we do call all the feeder elementary districts and get their numbers so that we can project for the next year. So we started this process extremely early so that we know those numbers early on. So the next number here, this is the average daily attendance. So we get paid not by the kids we have, but when they come to school, right? So it's important to show up to school when you're healthy, of course. And so based on the current projections, we are projected current year's P288, which is on or before April 15th, to be about 26,430 students. And we are continuing to monitor some of the attendance rates since many of the neighboring school districts are letting us know that attendance rate is lower. And so we are also, our attendance rate is a little bit lower at this point compared to what we had in the past. And so we'll be collecting that information at P1. And so when a school month ends in the next 2 weeks, we'll be collecting those data, and then we'll be populating those data into our projection to see what our P1 number will be like. But the lower enrollment, the lower attendance rate is due to flu, RSV now, and then as well as some of the COVID numbers. That's what we're tracking. So those COVID numbers are coming back up again a little bit. So those we're tracking in our office as well. Next slide here is the unduplicated pupil count. So this is based on a 3-year averaging. And so with this population, so students who are eligible for free and reduced lunch, English language learner, as well as foster youth, we do receive an additional dollars for our base funding. And so current year, we are projected is at 78.66%. And the next slide here will show us our retirement. This is the STIRS and PERS contribution, the district contribution, not the employee contribution. But as you will see, we have seen a extremely increasing in the overall, and that's part of it is because the investments are not doing well at the state level as well. So as you will see from last year, 21-22 to 22-23, our STIRS contribution at the district level went up by about $5.4 million. So that's a STIRS, that's all people who are certificated in that group. And for the PERS, that's people are classified, people like me and my staff, that amount went up to by $4.6 million. So together, just on the pension alone, our increase was $10 million. So that's whatever we get, we pay for that first. So, but the good thing is moving forward, well, not the good thing, moving forward, the rates are stabilizing for STIRS. It's at 19.1%. And then, but if you think about not that many years ago, the district contribution was only at 8.25%. And so you've seen how much of increase has gone. But the idea is overall, this is projected for the next 4 years. The STIRS number are not going up. And then, but the PERS, it was at 13.02% back not that long ago in 2012, 2013, and is now at 25%. So if you can see, just the employer rate has gone up significantly. The next one here is the health and welfare expenditures. As you will see from 2020 to 21-22, that's how much we closed the books with. Those are the orange bar. We spent about $49.8 million in 2021, and in 21-22, we spent $59.7 million, and that's a $10 million increase. So just between the pension of $10 million and then the health benefits of going up by at least $10 million already at this point, that is quite a bit of an increase for, to our budget. And in current year 22-23, we're projected to be about $62 million. And for health benefits, we do put about 10% increase to the overall budget, since there are years where we do better and there are years where we don't do as well, but the industry standard is between 10 to 12%, and so we do put the number in there. We do want to thank all the different bargaining groups for helping us to sit on the health benefits committee. The committee has done really, really well, and thank you to our board members, Mrs. Piercy and Mrs. Smith, for sitting on the committee. It's an extremely important committee that we all come together and to make sure that we have the best benefits for our staff. And they are also very cognizant about containing the cost as well. And so I was able to see that firsthand this past year. So thank you so much for everyone that participated in that committee. So now I'm going to run through our first interim. These are some of our assumptions and our multi-year projections. And as you will see here, the current year COLA is still at 6.56%. The augmentation is at 6.28%. So that was on top of what we are receiving. And then as you can see next year, the number is 5.38%. But that number already has been adjusted up already at this point. But we'll see what the governor proposes in January, and then we'll update that number for the second interim report. And then, but the other programs are including special education is only getting the base COLA and none of the augmentation. And you see the STIRS and PERS rates on there, so that kind of gives you an idea. It's kind of, at this point, we are stabilizing, so that's a good thing. And these are the assumptions we use to create our revenues, for example, the enrollment as well as the P2 numbers. And so once we have the numbers when the school are finished in about a couple weeks, and then we're updating the P1, then we'll also update the P2 numbers at that point. And currently, our funding ADA is a little bit different. The method now is we are able to use a 3-year averaging. And in our district, for example, that helps us since we have been declining. So that at this point, we are using a 3-year averaging number for the funded ADA. So at the 22-23 first interim, our overall revenue for general fund is at $667 million. And you'll see this is a huge increase from what we've presented initially because of all the additional one-time dollars that's coming in. And I'll be showing you a slide of how much categories those are. And so, but still, the bulk of our income is coming from the base dollar of the local control funding formula, about 60% right there. Federal revenue is about 15%, and the other state revenue is coming at 23% due to all the one-time dollars that are coming through. For the expenditures, first interim, our total expenditure is about $571 million. And as you will see here in this chart here, bulk of our expenditures is on the employees. So you will see the certificated salary, classified salary, as well as the employee benefits. This is our multi-year projection. So we have to present current year budget plus the next 2 years. In our district, we've always done a 4-year budget, current year plus next 3 years. As you will see here, we do have the $667 million of revenue we'll see on there, and then you'll see the $571 million for expenditures. And our board has also mandated to have a 6% reserve. So you'll see that line item in the reserve for economic uncertainty at 3%, as well as the other commitments. And I'm going to be showing you that in the next slide. So together, the board has a 6% total reserve, plus any of the additional reserve that you will see for all the current year plus the next 3 years. For the commitments for 22-23, that's the dollar amount that we are setting aside for future obligations. We have the pension, so you have the PERS increases, the STIR increases. We also have the classified summer assistance program. And once again, I do want to make an announcement here. Our district, the board, thank you to the board to allowing us to continue with that program. We are only one of 3 districts in Orange County that is participating in the program. And our employees have been receiving almost a dollar-for-dollar match. And so last year we had almost 900 employees that signed up for this program. So it's super amazing that there is some cost for districts, so we're setting aside that money for the payment. We also have the CNG fueling station. We also have some buses we're leaving, some set carryovers as well. And so you can see we are line itemizing the expenditures right here. And then this is the update for the pandemic funding summary, how much money that we're receiving from the one-time dollars. So as you will see, those are the resource codes, that's the code that we use in accounting, all the different funds. As you will see, we have added now the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant that we talked about back in the 45-day update of $47.7 million. That's in the current budget now. We also have the Arts and Music Block Grant, $17 million, as well as some of the other one-time dollars there. So overall, our district allocation for all these one-time dollars are about $233 million. And as of November 30th of 2022, we still have $142 million left. But just be aware, there are a lot of projects we are currently in design. Some of the projects are the HVAC systems that will be using the ESSER dollars. They're already in progress. So thank you, Patty and your team for that. So those are all in progress at this point. So we'll be updating a lot of our HVAC system through that. So we do have projects that's already in queue, and that will be spending hopefully by the fiscal year at this point. And so tonight we are bringing you a positive certification report for first interim. That means we can meet our current year obligation plus the next 2 years. So we'll be taking that to the county. And really in January, we'll see what the governor proposed. So this COLA and how much the state can fund us will be a big factor, and we'll be updating our second interim based on the numbers that were being proposed. Then we'll be taking the new numbers to the board in March. And then in May, we'll hopefully get a good May revise at that point, and then bring into the budget, the adult budget to the board in June. And so that concludes my first interim presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Anybody have any questions?
Yes, I had one question. First off, thank you so much for the report, and to your team for the report. It's my first interim budget, so thank you. I did have a question on page 4 of the first interim budget. In the estimated funding ADA, I know it declines a little bit between the years 2023 and 2024, and then picks up 2024, 2025, and 2025, 2026. Can you explain the projection from our feeder districts and how that works?
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you so much. So we do use a software. It's called Forecast 5, and that grabs all the feeder information. So they go back, they take the latest numbers from the numbers in that's certified from the state, and basically they roll up all those numbers for us. So based on that projection, we are projected to decline from the feeder districts 378 students during that period of time. Additionally, we also have a decline in our 8th grade and 9th grade students as well. So that contributed to the overall decline at this point. And these are the numbers we will continue to monitor, and hopefully in a couple of months we'll get all those numbers from the feeder, and then we're hoping to update those numbers as well. Okay. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Along those lines, with the new TK programs that are coming up, are those helping our numbers, or?
They not necessarily, because that only helps the school districts who have those TK population, because those kids basically, they will come in for 2 years instead of 1.
It helps
right? Because
them.
It helps
not us.
them.
It helps, yeah, but depending on, I mean, hopefully kids are going to get to school earlier, and then they'll stay in the system longer, right? So that will be the goal, but we'll hopefully, because that's new, right? So we'll kind of see the numbers in
Well, I
a
was
few
talking
years.
about in the projection of when they come to us.
Yes, and those will be, yes, those numbers, once they come up, then we will project out for those
Yeah,
numbers.
but those numbers,
5
we
years,
can't
6 years ago.
rely on those.
Can't rely on them,
It's
yeah.
a little
'Cause
further
A lot
away.
of students will move out, I understand that. I had a question, you did answer about the PERS increase and STIRS increase. What is the reason that I mean, you probably don't know exactly, but what are they saying is the reason why it jumped so much the last couple of
Well,
years?
the investments have not returned as well, and so when they can meet those obligations, then they would either have the employee pay. For example, STIRS members went from paying 8.25% themselves to 10.25. So this already has occurred. With PERS, it requires specific legislation, so they're not able to do it still. Only for the people who started after PEPRA, so after the pension reform back in 2013.
Isn't a lot of it dependent on the stock market?
Yeah, so on the markets, yeah.
That's why it's gone up. We have to increase our participation, contribution, rather.
Okay,
So far with PERS, they haven't had to, but STIR, they're governed a little differently, and employees themselves actually has to pay more at this point. They have been for the last several years.
Okay, and then also, can you remind me how you come to get our interest rate?
So the interest rate, so that the county will give us those rates. So from the Orange County Department of Education, they will give us those information, because our money is deposited with the county treasurer.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? I have one on the monthly enrollment figures. From month 1 to month 2 in this year. It jumped, 300?
Yes, it did.
Do you know what the cause was, that big jump?
So yes, as we can see, it seems like sometimes depending when school starts, and a lot of the kids sometimes come back after Labor Day. So that's one of the things we did.
Historically, it was the same time. So, last year was within a day of us starting, same as this year. So the year before that, it was within a day or two of the same date. So I don't know why what you just said would be valid.
Well, I don't know, do you guys have any other suggestions? So I think we do check with the schools, and one of the things we asked them was if the kids are not there, we ask them to drop them a little bit earlier now. So we have a 10 days. If they don't come, then we also do a drop as well. So I don't know if that affected those numbers. If the kids from prior year, like if they were just there, but nowadays if they're not coming, then we're asking them to drop them earlier. We've been more proactive this year to make sure that we're counting the right numbers as well.
But aren't we also doing things to, like, we're actually visiting homes and
Yes,
going
they're
out to
also doing
find
that.
them?
Mhm,
So we
mhm.
don't want to just drop them unless we know.
So no, they're good. So then they have a placeholder, and then they will contact the families to make sure that the students either are they here or are they not coming, and so that's probably also helping as well. Mhm.
Okay.
I know that that's Student Services, that department runs those programs.
Thank you. Thank you, team.
Thank you. Thank you for your report and all your hard effort there. Keep us solvent. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Okay, next is item 12, public comments. And it looks like most of the public is gone, but we have 3 names here. We'll see if they're still in the audience. One is Mansa Bermudez.
She's gone. Maritza?
Maritza.
Oh, Maritza, I'm sorry, that's an I. Maritza
Maritza.
Bermudez,
She
okay.
left, she left.
So that's left, okay, not right, okay. How about Jose Lara? Still here.
That stranger.
You look familiar.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jose Lara, Coordinator of Alternative Education, Principal at Gilbert High School. Thank you, board members, for indulging me for a quick second. I came here tonight to publicly thank Al Jabbar and Doug Chafee. On the board item tonight is an acceptance of a donation of $40,000 that was helped secured by Doug Chafee for our Parenting Pathway Rising Sunshine over at Gilbert High School. It's an amazing program with a lot of our teen parents are a part of, that where we give students a second chance. Let me rephrase that. Because at Gilbert, sometimes we say we give students a second chance, but actually they give us a second chance. They give us a second chance to provide them with an education that they deserve. In our Rising Sunshine program, our parenting pathway, we give students the skills that they need to be successful parents, to be successful in life. We focus on the 5 C's, and more than anything else at Gilbert High School, we focus on compassion. Really quickly, we have a student, I'm going to change her name just for privacy reasons, but she's a student that has auditory processing disorder, which means it's difficult for her to learn, and it takes her longer. She has a young child in our child care center. She's part of our parenting pathway. She's passing all her classes right now. She's 20 years old. She was recently in a domestic violence situation, and we're helping her out. And our social workers are working with her. And I'm going to be so proud when she graduates at the end of the school year. At Gilbert, we have another student who isn't part of our parenting pathway, but our outreach worker, because she wasn't coming to school, went out, our social worker went out and had her come in and spoke to her and tried to find out the true reason why she wasn't coming to school. Her father was incarcerated, and as she cheered up and told us her story, we told her that we'll get her into counseling, we're gonna help her out. So she stopped coming to school, and her mom was in the room with us, and she told us a story about her father, how she was incarcerated, and how that made her feel, and how she couldn't stand being in class because she was thinking about her father and what would happen to her. She didn't choose her father, she didn't choose her situation. At Gilbert, we do whatever it takes. And I come here with just a ton of admiration and appreciation for the Supervisor Chafee, for our board members, for our staff, who is providing us with additional counselors and said, hey, when there's a need, here it is at Gilbert. It's the equity work. We define equity as supporting those farthest away from privilege. And by privilege, I'm just talking about having parents in their lives. I'm talking about having a stable home. Just gratitude for those simple things that some of our students do not have. I'm so lucky to be at Gilbert, and I just want to come here on behalf of the entire Gilbert staff to say publicly, he's not here right now, but I know that he'll get this message, and we're going to invite him over to Gilbert when we purchase the equipment and stuff, and we're going to do all of that, but also to the board members who consistently, when staff has come to ask for your support, you have always been supportive of alternative education and always been supportive of our students. That's the equity work that we love to see. That's the C for compassion. And at Gilbert, we do whatever it takes. So muchísimas gracias, Clase Camatli. Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Jose.
I don't know how many languages I wish I could say thank you to you in. From the bottom of our hearts, I think I speak for a lot of people. Do a wonderful job. Thank you.
Next we have, and I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher the name. Mazato? Tekpaktik?
Tekpat Tepeolotzin. Ready?
Say it slower.
Masat Tekpat Tepeyolotzin.
Thank you.
Yekwe kualis tayowat, ni tokan masat, ni tokan tekpat, ni naha tepeolotzin, ni naha mexika. Umpa wehitlali nikan tangwa, ahachamen, Jujutugna, iwan umpa wehitlali Mexico Tenochtitlan namomikit, umpa wehitlali nochan Cali, Oaxaca, Huayashkak, Tecomaslahuaca. So good afternoon. Buenas noches. I'm from the Obsidian Knife Clan and Heart of the Mountain Clan and the Running Deer Clan. I'm just here to thank you all for, we were a witness to a presentation by Jackie Nunez, which we happen to know for many years. She's from the Hachamen Nation of San Juan Capistrano, and we were there present. But I want to thank you all for allowing her to speak to the students, high school where I graduated from, Anaheim High School, class of '98. And we didn't have Native American history or studies. We weren't being taught the true history of the land before the colonists, with all your due respect. And we had Chicano studies, Chicano history. That helped me a lot. I was here when I was 12, 13 years old, speaking here at the same school board right here. And here I am, 42 years old, and I'm witnessing something that's going to help and create high self-esteem, identity for our people and all people. And we educate and teach each other. But I want to thank you a lot from the bottom of my heart. But I want to first thank Laura, Daniel de la Torre, that created the petition, Decolonize the Colony petition. We have almost 11,000 signatures. People are still signing, people are still reading. And presently, we do have a tribal member right behind over here from the Kickapoo Nation, Chavela, federally recognized. She was there also, and it was really nice to see that. And she's a witness to what you guys are doing, and she's reporting this back to her tribal nations in Oklahoma, Texas, and they have another band in Coahuila, Mexico, because we didn't have borders. We didn't cross the borders crossed us. But thank you so much. Hopefully we can keep working together in our community. Thank you for everything you've done, and everybody here, and congratulations, you're now the president. But I also want to deeply thank El Jabbar, because it was very historical for what he did. It was courage, and like Matsuda said, we don't win or lose, and sometimes we have to take that step and have that courage, which we call Huitzilopochtli in the Nahuatl language. It means a hummingbird. It means someone that takes initiative and moves like Olin. But thank you so much. And I had a Zoom meeting with Senator Ramos yesterday morning with a lot of tribal leaders. Senator Ramos, thank you. I know you're watching right now. Senator Ramos created the bill AB 1073. AB 1073 was a bill, he was the first Native American to be elected male as a senator, so we're not allowing the state to teach us our history. We are allowing our own people like Jackie Nunez or Tango, Virginia Carmelo, that helped us create Indigenous Peoples Day Committee in Anaheim with the City Council, thanks to Dr. Jose Moreno. But thank you all again, and with time we will heal, and with time we will learn and teach each other. And thank you so much. Gracias. Tasukamati. Thank you.
Thank you. I just had a question.
Sure.
I don't think you've ever stated, or if you did, I don't remember. How many people speak the language that you speak?
Wow. Woo! I would have to speak to Chavela about the statistics, but in Anaheim, there is
thousands or tens of
Oh,
thousands?
more.
Or
I would say,
millions?
honestly, maybe 13,000 in Anaheim, just in Orange as well.
Okay.
But in Anaheim, there is a lot that speak Nahuatl. A lot of us Chicanos or Mexicanos, Mexica is the correct way to say Mexican, do speak Nahuatl. Some of the words in the Nahuatl language, I do teach Nahuatl. Thanks to David Vasquez. It's connected to some of the Hachaman words, some of the Tongva words, and some of the Hopi words, Shoshone. So it's a big family. It's a big linguistic family that goes to Cahuilla in the reservation, which is Riverside. And Senator Ramos is actually Cahuilla, from the Cahuilla Nation. And we actually talked about how you guys are being very understanding as far as having tribal members speak, the original peoples here in Orange County. And so, but there is a lot of us here that speak. Next time, maybe I'll have the statistics, numbers for you.
Just curious.
Oh, yes, and I think it's important because that's what, we educate ourselves and share and teach each other. Because some of us might not know, some of you might not know, because when we were fighting for the Culture and Heritage, speaking at the Culture and Heritage Commission with Raida, it was, they wanted it, they didn't even know this was Tonga land or that they existed, that they were state recognized. They don't have any federal recognition yet, but they're working on that. But thank you for that question, and we're more than pleased to help and guide you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on to items of business. 18.1, school-sponsored student organizations.
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion, any conversation?
I just had a quick comment. I'm just excited to see a biotech club that highlights our biotech pathway at Anaheim High
Yes,
School.
yes, that was nice to see. Yes.
Good, yeah.
And Omkar, you're
Omkar.
part of this here? Yep.
Any questions?
No? Okay.
Okay.
So all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? That's 6-0. Next, resolutions. Resolution number, this is 18.2, resolution number 2022/23-B-05, adjustments to income and expenditures, general fund. Also, resolution number 2022/23-B-06, adjustments to income and expenditures, various funds, and the 22-23 first interim report.
So moved. Second?
Motion and a second. Any discussion? We've had a presentation. Okay. This is a roll call vote. So we will start over with our newest board member,
Aye.
Ms. Percy,
Aye.
Ms. Randall Trejo,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
and I vote aye. That's 5-0. 18.3, resolution number 2022-23-B-07, close general obligation bond, GOB, and it's an action item. Oh, I need to read the rest. Election 2014, Series 2015, Fund 21-24, and resolution number 2022/23-B-08, close general obligation bond, GOB, election 2014, Series 2018, Fund 21-26.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any questions?
No, but I have a comment. It's nice to close them.
Yes.
We've used all the money.
Definitely. Yes. Yes. Thank you for that comment. It's a good one. All right, so roll call vote.
Aye.
I'm sorry, I didn't even say your name, Ms. Guerra.
Aye.
Yes, Ms. Percy,
Aye.
Ms. Randall Trail.
I vote aye.
Percy. I'm
Smith.
sorry, Ms. Smith. I'm looking at Ms. Percy and said, yeah, Ms. Smith.
Aye.
You call me O'Brien, that's okay. Well, she got me, I got her. And I vote aye, that's 5-0.
Done that so many
Yeah,
times.
that's okay. I'll catch up with you, I'll try. 18.4, resolution number 2022/23-B-09, accounting and developer fees.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions on this?
I have a comment. I was, going over this, I was surprised how much we actually get. I mean,
Yes.
it's not a piddling sum. I thought it was a really, I mean, not considering this is all on additional taxes for, building developments in the various 5 cities that we cover, so.
I'm just, go ahead.
I do have one question, though, because we cover 5 cities, but not entirely. It has to be something within our attendance area.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So it has to be within our attendance area, and we collect for the elementary schools
And we
as
collect
well.
and then give it to the
Yes.
elementary
So
schools.
when we do the developer studies, when we do the adjustments, that really helps us as
Right.
well. And so, yes, these are good money to have, and that will also help us with our facilities as well.
Right.
And
I
so
find
there are
it
a lot of new
interesting to look
developments, so.
through And see, what cities are doing what, and the improvements, and,
Yes, so every time they're building, we do collect.
Yeah,
Yes.
Do you know how this compares to last year?
I can't remember.
Dollar
I know
figure?
we've been, I know it's.
Is
it's
it
about-
higher?
Huh?
Is it higher?
Patty, where?
Anybody know?
I can't. Similar, yeah, I think it's been.
No, it's okay. I was just wondering because, the cost of construction has gone up so much. That would mean that I was just wondering if this number was inflated because of the higher prices, or if there's fewer units being built, but the dollar figure is still up there.
I believe last year we collected a little bit more. There was just more construction.
More units.
More units.
Okay.
And then
has
it's-
one more.
So maybe as construction costs are starting to come down, I'm seeing them, I go to Home Depot a lot, I see the prices coming down, that will obviously get into the cost of construction coming down, that we might see this coming down some.
Yes.
Is it on the cost of the construction, or is it on the square footage?
It's on the square footage.
I'm going to say, it's not the cost, because I remember when I added on to my home, you know, we.
Oh, it's only square footage
It's on the
cost?
square footage, so it's per square footage, that's how.
Okay, well, I mean, if it's costs are high, then people aren't going to build, so
Yeah,
that's
so
square
there'll
footage.
probably be less
So
people
it's-
building, that's one thing. But the other thing is, we also adjust the fees every 2 years. So when the state allocation board recommends this increase, and we do a justification fee study, and then we qualify to increase the rate, the district has been very good, so thank you for the board for supporting that. We've been increasing the fee based on the developing fee study. So then that also help us. So it could be the similar number of square footage for that, let's say the same square footage, but every 2 years we do adjust the fees up.
So it's square footage, it's not
Yes,
cost.
yes.
Square
And then,
footage, okay.
I mean, and, you know, if it's under 500 square feet, then you don't pay for the adjustment. So some people do like right under.
$4.99.
A lot of 499s that we see, yes, so they do that.
So it's under 500 square feet?
Anything under 500 square feet.
They don't have to pay anything? Okay, because I know that mine, I thought we came right under the wire when we did it, and this was back in 92, you know, but.
Yes, so.
Okay.
Okay, so this is roll call. Ms. Guerrero?
Aye.
Ms. Piercy?
Aye.
Ms. Randall Trejo?
Aye.
Mrs. Smith?
Aye.
And I vote aye, that's 5-0. 18.5, resolution number 2022/23-BOT-01,
So moved.
compensation for board meeting.
Second?
Okay, any discussion?
I don't know about this one.
I know. Now, I have to abstain, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's, I thought. Okay, roll call. Ms. Guerrero?
Aye.
Ms. Piercy?
I guess
Randall
so.
Trejo?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
And I abstain, so that's 4-0-1.
I have a question here, though. I mean, didn't you call in, you know?
Yeah, I called in for
you
closed
called
session,
in
so I'm
for
not sure
closed
how
session.
that works.
It's the open session meeting, but in any event, it's taken care of by the resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I was just, you know, but I thought we would consider him having attended because he was already in closed session. I mean, he kind of partially attended and then listened.
That,
Because also, when Al Jabbar was in Sri Lanka, he dialed in
Yeah.
for the whole meeting.
And
And
he-
so he didn't miss it then because he literally.
and he was on a video here, so the audience could see him.
That was before my time,
Oh.
so I have no comment.
Yeah.
But also, I assume that it was posted in accordance with the Brown Act and appropriately scheduled.
So, just as a question, just curious, if I had been here and went home sick after the closed session, what happens then?
I don't know the answer to that. I would have to research that.
Just curious because, okay.
Yeah, because I was just curious because I thought he was, you know, during closed session and then, you know, probably paid attention on
Well,
online.
he knows. Yeah, he knows.
Right, right. And so he was basically involved anyway. I mean, and so I was just curious, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Okay, next, 18.6, agreement dietetic internship, Pepperdine University.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's 4-0. Okay. 18.7, revised board policy, multiple policies, first reading, information only. 18.8, educational consulting agreement, Nicola Dedman.
So moved.
Second.
We have motion and seconds. Any questions? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 4-0. 18.9, contract independent academic assessment, Karen Schnee, MA.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 18.10, independent contractor services agreement, La Palma Community Services, in Spokane.
So moved.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Any questions?
I have a question, because it says here, this is the first program, after-school program offered to Kennedy and Walker Junior High. But There was something at Walker that was sponsored by La Palma, but it wasn't called Info, whatever. It was through their Parks and Rec, and I know there was something there, but, so maybe it's just a, you know.
It was a few years ago,
Slide.
but it's,
It was a few years ago. It wasn't that many years ago because, right, yeah. And it was something through La Palma Parks and Rec where they had something, but this must be,
was pre-COVID, I think.
yeah, it was
That's-
pre-COVID.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's sort of a timeline.
But I just kind of want to correct this because to me, it's not the first program. It's a different program. The other one wasn't called Inspo Team, but
Inspo.
anyway.
Yes, sir.
La
Okay.
Palma does work with us sometimes and try to do some stuff, and that's nice, you know.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 18.11, beneficiary agreement, County of Orange, American Rescue Plan Act funding, Gilbert High School.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I'd just like to make a comment to thank Supervisor Doug Chafee for the funds along with Principal Laura. Thank you.
Yeah, he's sitting out there making sure we voted it.
He spoke too early, now he
Aye.
thank us. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 18.12, memorandum of understanding, Hong Han Zong Chen EdTech Company Limited.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 5-0. Human Resources, Section 18.13. This is a public hearing. So we open the public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak? Seeing none, we close the public hearing. 18.14, adoption of the 22-23 collective bargaining agreement with ASTA.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 5-0. 18.15, initial contract proposal, AUHSD to ASME, information item. 18.16, this is a public hearing. We open the public hearing. This is for the AUHSD to ASME. Seeing none, close the public hearing. 18.17, initial contract proposal, ASME to AUHSD, information only. 18.18, open a public hearing for the initial contract proposal, ASME to AUHSD. Anybody wishing to speak? Seeing none, close the public hearing. 18.19, long-term substitute teacher pay increase.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I hope this helps.
Yes.
We all do.
Yeah.
All
We
do.
keep trying, let me tell you.
Yep. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Looking good. Consent calendar. Anybody wishing to pull anything? Okay, I am pulling 19.8 GG and 19.9. Anybody else wishing? Otherwise, move the balance?
Move for the balance?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That's 5-0. Okay, 19.8 GG and 19.9 together.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain. 4-0-1. Thank you. We now move back to page, looks like page 23. So we come up to superintendent and staff report. Wow, you started to move, I saw that.
Oh, I did.
That was
I thought you were
anticipation.
going to say something.
But Darren's gonna say it.
Okay.
Just want to wish you all happy holidays.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You don't wish us happy holiday. Oh, the heck with you. All right.
Happy
that's-
holidays.
He's that way. All right, we'll just go to the next guy. All right. No,
Wow,
nobody else.
humbug.
Get me in this position, huh?
No, I'm wishing you a happy holiday. See how I did that?
I saw that, okay.
Don't have any report.
All right, all right.
No report. report and happy holidays. to all.
Thank you, thank you. All right, Board of Trustees report. We'll start with Mr. Guerrero.
Thank you. I just want to start by saying thanks again for everyone's warm wishes and welcome. I'm very excited to be on the board. For report today, I attended the California School Board Association conference along with some of my board colleagues and got to meet a lot of the education leaders in Orange County and across California. So it was really great to meet everyone and learn some great stuff between our workshops. And AUHSD also received a Golden Bell Award for the Saturday Language Academy, so I was very excited to be a part of that. And this past Friday, I attended Anaheim High School's choir and band winter concert. It was a great way to start the holiday season, and it was great to see our band and choir students come together for the winter show. And that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Good start.
Yeah, very good.
You see how
Very good.
quick she did it? Everybody in the audience
trying to
is,
wrap it up.
yay, Jessica, more Jessica.
It's good.
Okay, I'm taking up time. Miss Piercy.
Okay, I don't have to be first now, okay. Of course, I attended the CSBA conference, and there were some interesting sessions and workshops. And of course, I had to be there for the Golden Bell Award. It is such a nice thing that we are able to, have, I don't know how many bells we've got now, 7, I think, or more. Anyway, that's because we're such a good district.
Oh, yeah, ring the bell.
Where is it? Is it here to ring?
Right there.
Oh, there it is, right there. We got to ring it.
You got to ring it.
Yeah, ring our new bell. There we go.
Yeah.
So it was a really good conference. I did leave early Saturday morning though, because I had to be on the soccer field as soon as I could. I made it in time. Let's see, is Amy here? Yeah, all right. See, she can tell you. I was on the soccer field, so was she. Okay, we had to see our kids. And then we had to be on it again on Sunday from 11 until, well, earlier. Anyway, and it rained in Long Beach, and that was a tournament in Long Beach. That was cold, let me tell you. But anyway, it's what you do for your grandkids and your kids, okay?
Yes.
And then I went to the PTA luncheon, which is always so nice. It's always a great thing to do. And of course, I always end up buying stuff. I always bid well, but I got to support PTA. And then that's it. I want to say, I'm going to have one more thing to say at the end of the meeting after we finish this, but I wanted to wish everyone a really Merry Christmas, and I want to say thank you for the meeting tonight. This whole event was really nice. I was delighted to have Jan Billings read me the oath again and my certification. She's a lovely lady. I have known her for a long time, and I just feel like, hey, I was part of the family. I had both her girls in class, and I just, so I go back a long way, and everything was so nice. It was just really a pleasant evening, a super meeting as far as I'm concerned, and I enjoyed it all. And I want to wish everyone out there that's still looking at the meeting, Merry Christmas. I hope you all have a super holiday and a super good New Year.
Ms. Trejo?
Okay, I'm going to keep mine really short. I did attend the conference, and I'll report on some things at the next meeting. But I want to wish everyone happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and whatever else you celebrate. I love you all, and be safe and stay healthy. Thank you.
Yes. Ms. Smith?
Thank you. I wanted to share something with you, Jose. I go to Ralph's almost every day. It's just kind of like getting out of the house, and they're like family. Everybody that works there at that store I've known forever. And the other day I got out of my car and I was walking up to the front door, and a young man came out, and I said, "Oh, are you new? I don't recognize you." And he said, "I just came to work here." And he had his name tag on, and I said, "Well, how nice to meet you." And I said, "Are you in school?" And he said, "No, I graduated." And I said, "Where did you graduate from?" And he said, "Loera." And then his eyes deflected, and he looked down, and he said, "Gilbert." And I said to him, "Do you know what you want to do in life?" And he said, "No." And he sounded very lost. And I think of people like you that do what you do. It just makes my heart sing. And I said to him, "You're doing the right thing. You get up, you come to work, you're following instructions, you're meeting new wonderful people that work in this industry, and you're learning a lot about what it takes to run a market. One of the most difficult jobs in the world is to run a restaurant, but to run a grocery store chain is humongous if you take time to think it out." And I said, "You're doing everything right because you're going to find out what you like and what you don't like in this job." And he looked at me with kind of his eyes kind of brightened up. And he said, "Thank you so much." And because it came from somebody else, not a parent or a neighbor or somebody that doesn't even know him. And I'll be seeing him again. And I'll think of you, Jose, when I see him. And maybe sometime down the line I'll say, "Do you know Mr. Jose Lara?"
Might ask him when he graduated. What year?
I didn't
You might
ask.
next, when you see him in the
And
future.
I think probably very recently, because he looks like he's getting into an older teen. And I will. As I get to know him and more about his life. I know everybody's life at that store, and it's a joy. And it has been a joy for me to serve on this board with wonderful human beings. And we talk about leadership a lot today. And I think of what all of you people do within your subject matter and your direction and how you pull all of this together. It's as big as running a grocery chain. And all the different people we deal with in our district to make them happy and feel included and loved and served, that's what we're here for. And so with that, I just want to wish all of you, and Omkar, you are a jewel, just a joy to know you and have you, and I want to welcome Jessica, and for each and every one of you, a loving holiday, safe, be well, take good care of yourself, and love each other.
As I mentioned earlier, I attended the Sister City Commission meeting, the last one. So I also attended the CSBA conference in San Diego, and that was I thought it was very educational. They have so many programs, so many sessions, I should say, that you can attend. And I do have to say that I probably put in 12 to 15,000 steps a day. Ms. Paulina Canos?
Because of where we were staying.
Because where I was staying.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's not her fault.
She didn't do that.
I'm kidding her. But it's the furthest I've ever been away from the convention center. It was like about an 18-minute walk, and at a good pace.
18 minutes for you.
Yeah, at a good pace. Yeah, I was shocked. Anyhow, unfortunately, it didn't rain. Yeah, it was a beautiful walk,
It's
yeah.
cold, though.
I attended the Anaheim Secondary Council PTA lunch a couple days ago. Very nice. I was the winner of 2 baskets. They've already been distributed to others' pieces, grandkids. I attended the tree lighting ceremony in La Palma, which is a real nice event. Kennedy singers were there. I think they sang 3 numbers, and it was wonderful. Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, from elementary. It was great listening to them. I attended the Kennedy Choir Show, which they do such a fantastic job, the VAPA program throughout the district, but Kennedy was just great. They were very good. I wanted to welcome Jessica to the dais.
Thank you.
We look forward to the next 4 years with you, and looking forward to working with you.
Likewise.
And wishing everybody happy and safe holidays, wherever you're going to be. Be safe about it, doing whatever you're going to be doing, and enjoy the family. Next, we have advanced planning, future meeting dates. we know is on our calendar now. We approved it, so the next date is whenever it is, in January 19th. Without my glasses on, I said it. January 19th, okay? On a Thursday. Suggested agenda items.
I have one I would like to suggest.
Okay.
Okay. At the CSBA conference, okay, well, no, first let me back up. A student sent me a letter, and it was several students who were signed on to this group project. And they wanted to request that we put driver's education back in the schools. They felt that, and it was a very well-done letter with information. He gave me a survey that they had done of about 30 different students at Cypress High, and if they had taken driver's ed or not, and how much they paid for it. It was all online, and it ran anywhere from $15 to $85 for an online education class. But their premise was that we would learn so much better in a classroom setting rather than an online thing and the online programs are all different. I mean, some of them said they were bored to tears, and it didn't take anything just to answer the test and pass it. So to me, the quality of driver's ed that is out there is just huge, the range, and whether it's effective or not. And the fact that students are sending the request to have this, I think is phenomenal, and we should look into it. And also, at the CSBA conference, I happened to be walking from where I took an Uber and he dropped me off, okay?
He stayed in the same hotel.
Yeah, and I wasn't going to walk that. I took an Uber because it was cold. But anyway, I started talking with her, and she was from Desert Sands, but we somehow got on the subject of driver's ed, and we were discussing it, and she said she was agreeable. She said it really should be back in the school. I know we can't do training. There's just too many problems with that. But driver's ed, I think, would be much better taken and learned if students are in a classroom can exchange possibilities and talk about it, because they're not having that opportunity on an online class. So there's a lot of learning that goes on because some of them have learner's permit and some don't. And so I would like to look into that, and I've already talked to Jaren about this, but I wanted to speak it to the rest of the board about what we can look into. Maybe work with ROP and get them online and get them a class through them, or maybe look at having a Saturday type of maybe 5 or 6 Saturdays where they take a class, whatever. But let's look into what we can do, to maybe get driver's ed back into the school.
Okay, so that's not an agenda item right now. It's just a research
It's a
bring
research,
us
yeah.
back information.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a suggested thing, but I wanted to say it to the whole board.
I'm number 2. I agree with you.
Okay. And, look into what we can do about that, because I think, and I want to respond back to this kid now, and I said I would bring it up to the board, and I've done what I said I will do, because it's important that we respond to them. Now I got another group that sent me an email, and I got to answer them too, so, a different subject.
Anybody else?
No, that's it.
I did. Since we have a new trustee, it's possible that we could get a workshop through CSBA?
Yes, CSBA for?
And for just onboarding.
Well, there's the Masters in Governance program, which I've already talked to
I got the
Jessica
list. Yeah, I think
No,
Paulina sent
not
out
that
the list.
program. A workshop with the board and cabinet. We've done it before. You don't remember?
No,
It's an open meeting, but we have a facilitator.
Is it like
And
a refresher kind of course? Paulina, do you have?
It's when you guys created your governance handbook.
Yes,
that was a couple of years ago. Yeah.
it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Probably 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. Yeah.
Pre-COVID.
So, can we look into that?
Yeah. See what they have to offer.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
So CSBA would be a facilitator
To
of that.
facilitate, but what's
Yeah.
the end result that you're trying to achieve?
The end result is to look over our governance and our policies, and it kind of bonds us together in kind of creating that vision, and it gets us to kind of acclimate our new
Okay.
our new
Dr.
trustee.
Crissetti, look into it, yeah. But, you know, you mentioned the policies being looked over. I mean, they're doing that all the time, because that's why we keep getting these updates. Yeah, new reading.
First reading and second reading.
So, I mean, with hundreds of policies, I'm not sure.
No, we don't, we don't go over that. We don't go over each policy, but it kind of brings us up to date on, it's like our personalities
Sort of
and
the
how we
protocol
work
of getting-
together,
of
how we
working
work
together.
together. Yes.
Protocol of working together and sort of a.
How do I
just a
explain
re-
it?
It's like
Do you
norms.
remember?
Yeah, but it was a long time ago. 'cause
See, it was a long time ago.
Probably
I think
after
we-
Al got on. It was, you know.
Look into that, but I know that Jessica has been onboarded by Carl and Paulina, and there will
Yes.
be more opportunities for that. But if you, I think this was maybe 7 years ago.
Yeah, it
It's
was
a long
quite
time
few
ago.
years ago.
So let's,
So
can
just
we
after
just
you
look
became
into
a
it?
soup?
Right, I think it was brought on,
Well,
it
that
was
might,
training.
it was maybe because you were new in
Right.
the position, so
Yeah,
we were
it was
doing it
all
that
of-
for her.
All of that.
Okay.
Yeah, but we could look into it.
Okay.
You know, it depends on what the,
Isn't driver's ed all?
what you guys want.
now?
Yeah,
We'll talk
yeah,
more about it.
it is. But it's still required. Okay, anything else? Okay, I have one item. You know, it just rained this last week, which is kind of unusual around here, isn't it?
No.
And it rained really poured, but for a very short period of time, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it was. But that didn't do anything to our 20-plus year drought that we have here in Southern California, which we live in a desert. So I just want to throw out a couple of statistics, and I'll get to the point in a minute. We get our water from these sources. Lake Powell in northern Arizona, it's at approximately 20% capacity. Lake Mead in Nevada and Arizona is at approximately 27% capacity. Lake Shasta in Northern California, which you have water skied on, is approximately 38% capacity. Mount Shasta snow level at that time when I put this together, which is in October, I think, was 0. It usually has snow on it, and the glaciers are melting quickly. You didn't know there's glaciers on Mount Shasta. Well, there won't be pretty soon, but they've been there for I don't know how long. Orange County underground aquifers have been diminishing over the years, and they're at about a 63% capacity. So we have a very, very serious water problem that really no one wants to attack. You hear from the state. When was the last time you heard something from the state? Something about water being short. My city put out a stage 2 water alert. I'll show you how big it was. That was the article, and I think it was the summer. They put it out 4 times a year, a booklet. That was in their program. I mean, how exciting was that? It says, La Palma declares a stage 2 water alert. Okay. But then you have your community license driving around the city, and they're not telling anybody to turn off their water. I mean, they're not doing anything. I'm sure that La Palma is no different than any other city in the state. Anyhow, we have a serious problem, and I'm proposing that we put together a resolution to send to Sacramento, telling them that there is a serious problem, and asking them to start doing something about the problem, whatever that problem is, or whatever that resolution is to fix the problem. We can't, there's environment issues, there's so many issues to go along with it. But I'm just thinking that we as a district, we're the leaders in so many things throughout the state and throughout the nation. Why can't we be a leader in starting on trying to solve a water issue? Which I don't want to get to the point when myself or my children or grandkids, when they go to turn on the water and say, oops, oh, that's right. I used to have 2 plants in Tijuana I managed. Well, the water's not on for the next 3 hours. Can you imagine what the toilets are like when you're running a plant? Or you can't take a drink of water. You can't take a shower because you just came home from work. I mean, that's where we could be going if we don't start doing something pretty soon. So I'm suggesting we do a resolution. Everybody agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, thank you very much, appreciate it. All right. Can I have a motion for number 23?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor,